try and turn your cameras on.
ठीक है धर्मिल, दैट्स ओके। तो एक एक करके क्वेश्चन लेने शुरू कर दो। द वंस दैट हैव बीन टेकन यस्टरडे, हमने वो मार्क किए कि नहीं किए? यू आर ऑन म्यूट आई गेस।
सॉरी सर, सो ये कॉलम में लिखा है जो आंसर थे कल।
ठीक है ठीक है, चलो ठीक है। जो नहीं आंसर्ड है, यू नो, स्टार्टिंग फ्रॉम द सेम क्रोनोलॉजिकल ऑर्डर, जस्ट टेक दोस क्वेश्चंस वन बाय वन एज पर, यू नो, one question per ministry.
Also, I'll be displaying the timer on screen. There is no hard and fast rule, but just in case, since you have requested for it.
चलो ठीक है, गुड यार, थैंक।
So yes, I'm sorry.
ईशान sir.
हाँ, कौन बोल रहा है?
Piyush Goyal sir.
अच्छा बोलो भाई।
Sir, I joined 2-3 minutes late. I'm so sorry sir. तो सर मतलब अब आंसर्स में टाइमर होगा, मतलब लाइक इट शुड बी टाइम?
यार मैं खुद 5 मिनट लेट ज्वाइन किया, आप मुझसे पहले ज्वाइन किए हो, आप सिर्फ 2-3 मिनट लेट ज्वाइन किए हो। दूसरा ये कि टाइमर इज फॉर एवरीवन्स कन्वीनियंस, वो कोई मतलब इट्स लाइक कि वी वुड, यू नो, रियली अप्रिशिएट इफ यू कुड रैप अप, यू नो, एज सून एज पॉसिबल योर आंसर्स। ठीक है, टाइमर का शायद किसी ने कल सजेशन दिया था, तो वी जस्ट इम्प्लीमेंटिंग।
ग्रेट, परफेक्ट, थैंक यू सो मच सर।
थैंक यू थैंक यू।
So now, first question is to the Minister of Environment. I believe Prakash Javadekar or anyone from the ministry is absent. So we will move on to the next question, that is to Ministry of Health and Family. If Dr. Harshvardhan or anyone wishes to answer this question.
Yeah, I am present. Okay. So I answered the first part yesterday, and I will answer the second part right now.
Yes.
Just- Can I go next, like just after one question?
All right. The next question is to Ministry of Science. Science and Technology, again, which Dr. Harshvardhan is a part of. We will move on to the Ministry of Social Justice. If Thawar Chand Gehlot or anyone from the ministry would like to answer this question.
Sir, this question was already answered yesterday.
All right. So we can move on to Ministry of Railways, Piyush Goyal, if they wish to answer this
So
particular
this
question.
question was answered yesterday, Chair.
All right, that's two.
Yes, sir.
All right. Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs would be H.S. Puri, if you would be willing to answer this question, if it's not been answered yesterday.
I guess he's not present. नीचे चले जाओ।
All right.
I can answer my question now. if
चलो ठीक है, go
it's
ahead.
okay. Yeah.
Read the question first and then answer. ठीक है?
Okay. So this question is asked by Rakesh Sinha, and I will be answering it. So in the light of the second wave of the pandemic, the steps or provisions made for providing healthcare facilities to the migrant workers in Delhi and other metropolitan cities of the country. And the second part is the steps taken to ensure healthcare facilities to nomadic tribes whose number is no less than 1.5 million. and whether there is any proposal to issue health cards to person belonging to both categories. Okay, so I would like to answer this as a whole. State and central governments have worked together to identify districts which saw highest reverse migration of workers during COVID-19 lockdown. The PM has already launched Garib Kalyan Rozgar Abhiyan from Khagaria district in Bihar, under which within 125 days, 25 schemes of the government will be brought together for those districts. These 25 schemes will include Jal Jeevan Mission, Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana, and Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, among others. About 50,000 crore rupees is being pooled together under these 25 schemes to complete their projects in these 116 districts. Also, for nomadic tribes, Anamaya scheme is launched. It is a multi-stakeholder initiative which will converge efforts of various government agencies and organizations to enhance the health and nutrition status of the tribal communities of India. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, we have questions to the Ministry of Finance.
एक्चुअली एक्सक्यूज मी ये जो क्वेश्चन था ये सेम
Yeah.
पूछा गया था, वो आंसर किया था कल.
Yes, I remember this one.
ये सेम क्वेश्चन पूछा था अबाउट करेंसी मैनिपुलेटर्स.
Then there is a question to the Ministry of Corporate Affairs, which again, Nirmala.
So, Chair,
Yes.
to the Ministry of Consumer Affairs, I'm present.
Yeah, this question was answered.
So the second part wasn't from Rakesh Sinha, sir.
All right. Sir, if we will take this question.
So are we taking this question?
Ishan sir, इसका second part नहीं answer हुआ.
ले लो यार, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं. मेरे ख्याल से इसका सेकंड पार्ट नहीं हुआ है, if I'm not wrong.
Ji, Chair. Yes, Chair. This particular question was raised by the Ministry of Consumer Affairs. Was raised to the Ministry of Consumer Affairs by Rakesh Sinha ji. This is the start question. The verbatim is as follows. Will the Minister of Consumer Affairs be pleased to state the change in consumer behavior during the second wave and policies being implemented to continue economic growth and retain trust of consumers in products, especially in the food and beverage sector? अब राकेश सिन्हा जी, आप होम मिनिस्ट्री के एक पार्ट भी हैं, आप नॉमिनेटेड मेंबर है राज्यसभा के. आप जानते होंगे कि अभी हमारा कंट्री सेकंड वेव के थ्रू जा रहा है. You must understand during the second wave, there have been certain instances which were totally unplanned for. दिसंबर में जो हम लोग जिस पर्टिकुलर जीडीपी रेट से चल रहे थे, हमारा जो images of the future था, as per that India had a very growing economy, it had a promising economy, हमारा market rate rise कर रहा था. However, अब change in consumer behavior क्या हुआ? अब second wave आ गई है. Multiple states में lockdown लग गए हैं, curfews लग गए हैं. तो initially, let me talk about the automobile industry out here. Automobile industry हम लोग को एक sudden rapid rise दिखा रही थी. 28% increase था उसका as compared to last year as well. उसके figures, especially in the two-wheeler section. पर अब यहाँ पे क्योंकि लॉकडाउन हो गया है, we cannot predict the future right now, क्योंकि ऑटोमोबाइल एक ऐसा सेक्टर है जो 2 months के आगे भी मतलब अभी तक बुक्ड है. So everything which can be anticipated post 2 months. तो ये वाला सेक्टर आपका यहाँ पे आंसर हो जाता है. कंज्यूमर बिहेवियर ऑब्वियसली चेंज हुआ है अब, क्योंकि फूड एंड बेवरेज सेक्टर के सेक्शन में अगर हम लोग देखें तो क्योंकि लॉकडाउन हुआ है तो कंज्यूमर अब फिर से उसी पर्टिकुलर एनालॉजी से खेल रहा है कि ही इज ट्राइंग टू store more food at his home. He's trying to store more amount of commodities and goods at his house so that he doesn't have to venture out during the second wave. So things have changed, but things and the situation is similar to the situation which was there during the first wave. So now our government knows how to handle this particular section, and we will obviously try to work in collaboration with everyone to make sure that no wrongdoings take place. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Next up, we have Ministry of Corporate Affairs. you wish to answer this question? All right. We move on to Ministry of Railways again.
Excuse me, can I answer that question later?
All right, fair enough.
Okay.
Ministry of Railways. If any of these unanswered questions.
Yes, so the first question is unanswered right now. I'll answer the particular question. This particular question was posed to the minister.
Before that, just answer any one of these questions.
Yes, sir, I'm answering this particular question. The first one, the one with the blue. Yes, sir. This particular question was posed to the Ministry of Railways by Mr. Naresh Gujral. It is a start question. Will the Minister of Railways be pleased to state the total number of employees sent on leave without pay since March 2020 and how many of those have joined back? How many railway employees at present have not received salaries for more than 1 month since 2020 and total amount in rupees to be paid in pending salaries to railway employees? How many railway employees have been infected in COVID-19 till now and how many of them have lost their lives in COVID-19? And how many COVID care centers are available for treatment of infected railway employees and details of entity covering the cost of the treatment? So Naresh Gujral ji, you need to understand that Ministry of Railways, it's a government association, so we do not leave any of our employees left unpaid. Certain remarks were made that the Ministry of Railways let go of 700 employees from IRCTC. That was because they were based on a contract, and since during the COVID-19 pandemic, which is extending right now, but railway services were stopped till September, October, and there was a reason why हमने उस particular contract को उस time के लिए null and void कर दिया था, and we had let go of those 700 employees without payment because they were not railway employees. They were employees which were based on a particular contract which was taken from a particular firm by the IRCTC. Now, talking about the second point, how many railway employees at present have not received salaries? There are no railway employees who have, every railway employee has received salary. In fact, the Ministry of Railways would be pleased to announce that in most of the cases, the salaries were not cut. And total amount in rupees to be paid in pending salaries, no amount has to be paid in that particular scenario. How many railway employees have been infected? So as per the status, we have 30,000 frontline railway employees who have been affected. And unfortunately, we have lost 700 workers in the frontline duty as they were involved in direct interaction with the general public and most susceptible to the disease. And condolences were sent to the family. How many COVID care centers are available for the treatment? And details of the entity covering the cost. As per our regulation, no compensation was granted to the families of the railway employees who died during performance of their bona fide duties. The compensation is granted in the form of an ex gratia payment as per the guidelines of Department of Pension and the Pensioners' Welfare. Indian Railways has allocated a sum of rupees 300 crores for creating its own COVID test facilities. As per now, we have 30 COVID test facilities. Of these particular test centers are where our railway employees are treated, and the entire cost was allocated separately from the finance budget itself. Thank you so much, Naresh Gujral. So if any other questions, it can be sent in the form of supplementary questions.
Thank you. We'll now move on to the Ministry of Finance question, which I answered. Do you wish to answer this question? Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, you're audible. You're audible.
I got internet connection unstable. So we'll move on to Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs if HS Puri is here.
Yes, I'm here. So the question was asked by Naresh Gujral ji. Will the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs be pleased to state whether the government has devised any strategy to prevent ineligible NRIs and builders from availing funds to build houses under Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana (PMAY? If so, the details thereof, whether the government is examining the money being taken by illegal officers and regional leaders from the eligible person under the PMAYU. Okay, so the answer to these questions, I'll answer the first one. No, for now, no such strategy has been devised, but the ministry is working on it, and soon the respective announcements will be made. And for the third question, yes, PMAY is a fully transparent program, and due to such transparency only, it is performing so well. Each and every aspect has been looked upon, and preventions are taken of any such frauds. No complaint from the side of any reliable source is left unheard. Thank you.
Thank you. Now again have Ministry of Finance. Nirmala ji, if you wish to answer this question.
एक्चुअली ये जो क्वेश्चन है वो कल कॉर्पोरेट इरेगुलरिटीज के बारे में पूछा गया था और उसमें ये पूछा था कि नहीं कौन सा बैंकिंग फ्रॉड्स का ही पूछा था और जो टैकल करने के लिए स्टेप्स दिया था वो पूछा था, वो राकेश सिन्हा ने पूछा था, वो आंसर किया था। ये फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन ही पूछा था।
All right. Yeah. We now have another question for the Ministry of Finance from A.K. Anthony. Ma'am.
Yes, I'll answer. Yeah, the question is, will the Minister of Finance please to state, as it is said that India is facing an economic slowdown and will take a lot of time to recover, how can you ensure that 6% of GDP will be allocated to education? Now, we have slashed for education about 6%, even as it is announced a development, 15,000 Adarsh Vidyalayas, a new central university in Leh, a GLUE grant for better synergy among institutions, and single higher education regulator in the budget for 2021 to 2022 presented by us. Now, as education ministry officials termed the cut rationalization on account of the COVID-19 exigencies and said the allocation must be viewed. Allocation must be viewed, and the revised budget estimates instead. Moreover, they said that budget will not impact higher education institutions as much as they will now get funding directly from the National Research Foundation instead of ministry's budget. While the Department of School Education has been allocated by rupees 54 crore, down from 59 crore in the previous budget, the allocation of our department has gone down to 38 crore from 39 crore. The slide comes at a time when education institutions and consequently the student communities be deeply impacted by the pandemic. It marks the first fall in allocation after 2 years, and the Economic Survey 2021 reported that spending on education as a percentage of GDP stagnated at 2.8% during 2014-2019 and increased to 3 to 3.5% in 2019 to 21 period. Ideally, 6% GDP must be allocated to education as per our research. Thank you.
Thank you. We now move on to the Ministry of Railways again. If this question is unanswered.
Yes, sir, I'll answer this particular question. This particular question was raised to the Ministry of Railways by Shri Naresh Gujral ji. This is a start question. I would read the entire verbatim of the question itself first. Will the Minister of Railways be pleased to state if the government has sought participation of private sector in modernization of railway stations across the country, and also details thereof? So yes, the government has sought participation of private sector in modernization of the railway stations. A clear-cut example can be the Bandra station in Mumbai or the Pune station, which was in fact the first station which is being privately managed by another firm, which is working in collaboration with the government. Secondly, whether railways have invited bids from private investors for modernization of stations. Yes, the railways has invited bids for private investors for modernization of stations. This can be seen clear-cut in several stations across the country, like New Delhi, Indore, among many, even including Bhopal. or whether this government has signed any memorandum of understanding with foreign countries in this regard. If so, details of. Well, for this, the Union Cabinet, chaired by the Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi, was apprised of the Memorandum of Understanding, which was signed between the Ministry of Railways, the Government of India, with DB Engineering and Consulting of Germany for technological cooperation in the railway sector. The MOU was signed in February 2020. Talking about the details, the Memorandum of Understanding for Technological Cooperation will enable cooperation in the following sectors: the freight operations, including cross-border transport, the automotive sub-transport and logistics, passenger operations, infrastructure building and managing, including dedicated freight corridor, the DFC, which is also managed in collaboration with the Ministry of Home Affairs, and development of passenger stations, a development of modern competitive railway organization, including the improvement of organizational structures, IT solutions for railway operations, predictive maintenance, private train operations, and any other area which may be mutually agreed in writing between the two parties. The Ministry of Railways have signed the Memorandum of Understanding, joint declarations of intent for technological cooperation in the rail sector with various foreign governments and national railways in respect of identified areas of cooperation, which include high-speed rail, speed raising of existing routes, development of world-class stations, heavy haul operations, and modernization of railway infrastructure. Thank you so much, Chair. If any other questions, you can surely send it by supplementary method. Thank you so much, sir.
Honorable Speaker, I had a doubt.
Yes, please go ahead.
Sir, if there is a factual inaccuracy in the answer, how do we bring it about? Is
In
there
your-
any...
In your speech, or there is no other way, sir. मतलब अगर आप, you know, if you're expecting कि तुम मुझे लिख के भेजोगे and I'll read it, तो उसका कोई provision नहीं है.
All right, sir, in my speech then it is.
हाँ, हाँ, बिल्कुल.
All right. We move on to the Ministry of Health and Family Affairs. Dr. Ashwardhan, will you, if this question is unanswered by Sharad Pawar, would you be willing to answer it? Right, seeing none. We have another question to the Minister of Railways by Naresh Gujral. If this question is unanswered, you wish to answer it, you may proceed.
So just give me 1 second. I'm facing internet unstable. Just give me 1 second, please. All right. Sir, am I audible?
Yes.
A question was raised to the Ministry of Railways by Mr. Naresh Gujral. This is a star question. Will the Minister of Railways be pleased to state if the government is likely to launch any project to provide rail connectivity to the remote areas of the country to boost economic development and improve people's lives? Mr. Naresh Gujral, your question, if the government is likely to launch any project to provide rail connectivity to remote areas of the country, yes, the government is likely to launch multiple projects. Many projects have been launched by the Ministry of Railways itself. They are under process. Now, to boost economic development and improve people's lives, you must understand that these particular areas are remote. All right. So there would since these particular areas are remote, reaching those particular areas is another section altogether. So railways requires funds which are being provided by the central, but we understand that more amount of cooperation shall also be required by the members of the house as well as the members of the cabinet. You must understand that to boost economic development and improve people's lives, the railways is providing connectivity. This can be seen in a clear aspect in Jammu and Kashmir as well, where a new line was built near Srinagar to improve connectivity all over the country, and surely multiple projects are also under development. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Move on again to a question to the Health Ministry. Dr. Harshvardhan. None. We move on to the question by Anand Sharma to Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs.
Yes, Chair. So the question was asked by Anand Sharma ji. This is a start question, and the question goes like will the yeah, sorry, will the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs be pleased to state why did the government cut off the water supply from the farmers' protest site, considering right to access to clean and safe water supply comes under Article 21 of Indian Constitution, which is a fundamental right. So here the date was 26th of January 2021. Farmers were protesting and rushing towards Red Fort ceremony on Republic Day. The protest was turning into a violent one, where they were stopping water cannons and were not respecting the police force of the country. This in turn can be taken as indiscipline because 26 Jan, which is celebrated as a day for national pride and the patriotic ceremony at the Red Fort, which is conducted only to show love towards the country. The farmers were provided with the information that your pleas will be taken into consideration, but still, if they decided to violently protest, then we were left with no other option. Answering your question, water supply was being cut off from the protest sites just to take a control over the protest, but still, if they weren't ready to cooperate, then we were left with no choice other than taking harsh actions. And even though the police forces and government tried their best to control the protests just for respecting the day of national pride, the chaos was created at the Red Fort ceremony. Hereby, I would like to state that government is here to help each and every citizen of the country, but at the same time, a citizen should also know his or her responsibility towards the nation and should respect the Constitution of India, which provides you all these fundamental rights. Thank you very much.
I'm so sorry, I got disconnected due to some network issues. Can I answer my questions now?
Yes, you've had several questions. But we will have this question by Anand Sharma as well as a question by Sharad Pawar.
Okay, I would answer Mr. Sharad Pawar's question first. Okay, so this is a start question by Mr. Sharad Pawar, and it goes like, will the Minister of Health and Family Welfare be pleased to state the details of funds withheld for various schemes during the pandemic and the details of donations received from the citizens to deal with the pandemic, and the reasons for not giving free vaccine to the poor people out of the said donations amount. So for the various schemes details, on 26 March, Indian rupees 1.7 trillion relief package was announced by the respected finance minister. On 15th May, the Prime Minister of India declared a COVID relief package of INR 20 trillion, and on 14th November, INR 2.65 lakh crore comprehensive stimulus package was announced by our respected finance minister. If Mr. Sharad Pawar wants more details, then I can send, then he can send it through a supplementary questions. And to answer the second part of the question, private hospitals charge up to 250 rupees per dose of COVID-19 vaccine. The COVID-19 vaccine is given free of cost in government hospitals. And to ramp up the COVID vaccination capacity, around 10,000 private hospitals can be used under Ayushman Bharat PMJAY, and more than 600 hospitals under central government health scheme. Other private hospitals impaneled under state governments health insurance schemes can also participate as COVID vaccination centers. Thank you. And now to answer Mr. Anand Sharma's question. Shall I go ahead?
Yes.
Okay. So this is also a start question from Mr. Anand Sharma. Will the government be pleased to state considering the workforce in our country is between the age group of 18 to 45, why is government reluctant to provide vaccines to people above 45 only? On what basis is the government dividing the people who want the vaccine and ones who need it? So this was discussed in yesterday. This was discussed yesterday also, that immunity is stronger in the age group of 18 to 45, and we need to prioritize the vaccine procedures, that people above 45 have low immunity, and also the frontline workers are have more priority over the civilians. So this is how the priority is given to people who want the vaccine and ones who need it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there any other question I missed?
Only these two.
Okay.
We next have a question to the Ministry of Finance. It's an unstart question. Do we have anyone from Ministry of External Affairs?
Unstart मत पूछना, Dharmil, only start
Yeah.
करना.
Chair, I was asked a question.
You refrained from answering yesterday. Would you like to answer it today?
Yes.
All right.
Excuse me, I have a query.
Yes.
That unstart question, I have to reply through WhatsApp, right?
Right.
Or
At your discretion.
First of all, I want to apologize to the nation for not answering the question yesterday. So, will the Minister of Minority Affairs be pleased to state the details of the schemes introduced for upliftment of minorities and improve their quality of living standards, along with the budget allocated during the last 3 years? Whether scholarships have been provided to minority students during the set period, and if so, the details thereof, the details of funds allocated and expenditure under various schemes, and the number of beneficiaries, state-wise, including state of Telangana, whether there is any proposal to increase this amount this year. If so, the details thereof, and if not, the reasons therefore. So I'd like to answer this. First of all, this answer was questioned to me by Dr. Manmohan Singh. I would like to answer it as a whole. So one sec. Yeah. So the Minority Affairs Ministry has provided skill development, training, employment, and employment opportunities for lakhs of minority youth through schemes like Ustad Garib Nawaz self-employment scheme, Seekho Aur Kamao, and Naya Manzil. Through Pradhan Mantri Jan Vikas Karyakram, government has developed socio-economic, educational, and environmental oriented infrastructure across the country in minority concentrated areas. These projects include educational institutes, health projects, market sheds, toilets, and water facilities, and working women hostels. And as far as the budget is concerned, one sec. Yeah. So pre-metric scholarship scheme fund to the tune of 1,324.84 crores have been released, and 55.7 lakh scholarships awarded for the year 2019 to 20, and 204.27 crores have been released during 2020-21. Post-metric scholarship scheme funds to the tune of 428.77 crores have been released, and 7.43 lakh scholarships awarded for the year 2019-20, and rupees 127 crores have been released during 2020-21. Merit cum means based scholarship scheme funds to the tune of 285.63 crores have been released, and 1.18 scholarships awarded for the year 2019-20, and 105.47 crores have been released during 2020-21. Also, I would like to say 2,200.44 crores spent by the Minority Affairs Ministry on scholarship schemes during 2019-20 on 67 lakh beneficiaries. beneficiaries. I would like the opposition to know that the nationwide lockdown did not affect the payment of scholarships for scholarship schemes of the Minority Affairs Ministry. Yeah, that's about it. Thank you. I hope I've answered all your questions.
Thank you. We will move on to again a question directed to the Health Ministry by Anand Sharma. Ma'am, would you like to answer?
Yeah, I will answer it. Okay, so this is a start question from Mr. Anand Sharma. Will the Minister of Health and Family Welfare be pleased to state why the government is inclined to organize Kumbh Mela this year, even after continuous spike in cases of coronavirus? How is the government going to regulate and ensure that SOPs are followed? Okay, so we have taken out a few regulations, rules and regulations, so as the Kumbh Mela goes smoothly. So these are people violating COVID-19 SOPs at Kumbh Mela will be prosecuted. Masks are mandatory, and people must follow social distancing. Medical fitness certificate is also mandatory for people visiting Kumbh Mela. Hand sanitizer stalls will be put up at various places, and elders above 65 are discouraged from taking holy bath, and centralized control rooms will be set up at Haridwar railway station. Thank you. I hope I
Thank you.
answered your question.
Next up, we have a question to Ministry of Finance by Mary Kom.
That's the same
Madam.
question, monetary fund wala.
All right. So next up, we have question to- is anyone representing the Ministry of Defense here? All right. We have a question again to Ministry of Finance by Mallikarjun Kharge. And would you like to answer any of these two questions?
The questions, first of all, I don't really feel like answering, because the question is like a whole remark towards an allegation like the current Indian government is following a setting dangerous precedent of passing laws and bills. So I refrain to answer that.
All right.
That is perfectly fine. You don't even need an explanation. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Right. So both the questions, right? Next up, we have a question to the Railway Ministry by Mallikarjun Kharge.
Sir, I think this was answered yesterday.
All right. Both of them?
Yes, sir.
All right.
No. I don't think the second one was. But the first one was.
All right.
So just give me a second. The verbatim got lost in a multiple of documents. I'll just get back to you in the next question itself. I'm so sorry, sir. I'm just searching for the verbatim. I just lost the question somewhere.
All right. Fair enough. Next up, again, we have a question to the Ministry of Finance. Ma'am, by Subramaniam Swamy. Would you like to answer this question, ma'am? Nirmala, ma'am. All right. We will move on to the next question by Mallikarjun Kharge to the Health Ministry. Dr. Harshvardhan, if you would like to answer this question.
Yeah, just a second.
Sir, if it would be possible, I would like to answer.
We'll take Dr. Harshvardhan first.
Fair enough. Thank you so much.
I don't mind Mr.
Sorry.
Piyush Goyal going.
All right. Piyush Goyal, you may go ahead.
All right. A particular question was raised to the Ministry of Railways by Mallikarjun Kharge ji. I'm so sorry. by Mallikarjun Kharge. It was a start question. The questions verbatim was as follows. The NCT bill clearly dilutes the powers of the CM of Delhi and has undermined the votes of the citizens of Delhi. What is the need of an elected government in Delhi if the BJP government arbitrarily dilutes the power of the elected government in Delhi by misusing their majority in the parliament? As the leader of the opposition, Mallikarjun Kharge ji, ऐसे cold remarks देना आपको शोभा नहीं देता. पर अब इसका जवाब देते हुए I would like to state कि हमने इस चीज पे मेंटेन किया हुआ है कि जो हमने एक यहाँ पे बिल लॉन्च किया था is in line with the Supreme Court's July 2018 ruling that the ambit of the powers of the lieutenant governor and the Delhi government after a series of run-ins between the two. हमने इस बिल को डिफेंड करते हुए हमारे यूनियन मिनिस्टर ऑफ होम अफेयर्स श्री किशन रेड्डी जी ने भी इसी चीज पे असर्ट किया था that amendments have been brought to address certain ambiguities in the 1991 law and we reject any allegations that were put on an attempt to usurp the powers of any elected government in Delhi. हम लोग यहाँ पे ट्रांसपेरेंसी शो करते हैं, क्लैरिटी शो करते हैं गवर्नेंस में और पब्लिक अकाउंटेबिलिटी भी शो करते हैं. अब हम now we know that certain allegations were made, but these particular allegations were made by only the opposition. तो जब आप मल्लिकार्जुन जी आप मुझे ये बताइए सबसे पहले कि जब यूपीए की सरकार पावर में थी तो क्या तब भी दिल्ली गवर्नमेंट ने ऐसे ही बोला था कि एनसीटी बिल क्लियरली dilutes the power and undermines the value of every citizen in Delhi? नहीं, अगर आप एनडीए सरकार पे कोई एलिगेशन डाल रहे हैं तो आपको प्रायर नॉलेज, आपको उसका जेनेसिस भी पता होना चाहिए, राइट? आप उसको रूट कॉज पे जाइए. 1991 में भी ये सेम चीज आई थी और तब भी, और सुप्रीम कोर्ट जब इसको अलाउ करता है, जब दिल्ली इज द पावर ऑफ द सेंटर, तो मतलब आप ऐसा एलिगेशन डाल ही क्यों रहे हैं कि यहाँ पे हम सेंटर इज डाइल्यूटिंग द पावर ऑफ द स्टेट? अगर आपको कोई भी फर्दर क्वेश्चंस है, आई एम श्योरली रेडी टू आंसर वाया सप्लीमेंट्री. थैंक यू सो मच सर.
Thank you. We move on to the question to the Health Ministry.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. So shall I start?
Yes.
It is a start question from Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge. What protocol is the center following for vaccine allocation since states such as Gujarat and Rajasthan, which have half the population compared to Maharashtra, have received almost the same amount of vaccines according to the data released by our own Twitter team? Why isn't the government following the principle of proportionality in the allocation of vaccine? Is this because people of Maharashtra did not elect BJP to power in the state? Okay, so answering your question, is this because of the people of Maharashtra did not elect BJP? We were the third largest party जिसने जीती थी सीट्स, और आज वहाँ पे बहुत 7 है वहाँ पे पार्टीज. तो ये आप थोड़ा झूठ मत फैलाओ and don't create controversies. To answer your question about allocation, experts are deciding, and allocation is happening according to the protocols, and बाकी cases and दूसरे restrictions को देख के काम करना पड़ता है. So I hope I answered your question. The next question is,
Again, there's a question.
can you highlight it?
Yeah, 61.
Okay. It is also a start question. Why is it that when the center was questioned about vaccine shortages, it responded with outbursts against states? It is evident that the center has been ineffective in managing the allocation of the vaccine and also controlling the vaccine wastage rate. India has exported around 58 million vaccines and kept 23 million for domestic usage. Is it time for the government to reevaluate its so-called vaccine diplomacy policies? So we have made some international commitments, and according to our foreign policy, we have to fulfill them. We cannot just leave them. We have given a word, and हम पीछे नहीं हट सकते हैं उससे. Also, we consider our whole world as a society, so it is our duty to provide them to help them in the hour of the need. एंड शॉर्टेज नहीं है, जितना हाइप किया जा रहा है एक सिचुएशन को, उतना ऐसा कंडीशन नहीं है. वैक्सीन्स लोगों को मिल रही हैं एंड like Mr. Piyush Goyal said yesterday, 67% increase will be seen by May this year. Thank you.
Thank
Is
you.
there any
The
other
next question is also directed by Mallikarjun Kharge towards the Health
Okay.
Ministry.
So it is also a start question. The PM has called for a Tika Utsav from April 11 to 14 to vaccinate as many people as possible. But what about the effectiveness of such Utsav, considering that the vaccine centers in Mumbai are being shut down and people are being turned away? Is this another PR stunt by our Honorable Prime Minister, similar to the ones of Thali banging and lighting diyas? Okay, so it was discussed yesterday that Thali banging and lighting diyas had no relation to coronavirus whatsoever, but the morale of our country was had needed to be boosted. That's why we introduced Thali banging and lighting diyas. And to answer your question about Tika Utsav, we aim to provide 25 lakh vaccine shots in 4 days. UP would start the special campaign with 6,000 vaccination sites and aim to take our number to 8,000 by April 14. Okay, so till now, UP has administered a total of 81,65,788 vaccine doses, including first dose to 69,68,387 people and 11,97,401 second doses. These vaccines have been provided to people above of age 45 to prepare for a special campaign and train staff. Only medical colleges and district hospitals will run the vaccination sites, while private hospitals and other facilities will not vaccinate. I hope I answered your question. If you have any other question, I will take it through supplementary question. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, we have a question to Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs by Mary Com.
Yes, for sure. I'll just answer that. The question was asked by Mary Comji. It is a start question. The question goes like, in the Swachh Sarvekshan to 2019 report at the beginning of the current month, Center of Science and Environment, CSE, did an independent analysis of the report and found the survey to be full of loopholes. What measures are taken by the ministry to curb these loopholes? So before answering this question, I would like to state that the question is invalid in itself. Let's see. First of all, those loopholes were only noticed in 1 year's report, and that too because elections were approaching. Otherwise, all the reports released by Swachh Sarvekshan are accurate. Secondly, if those loopholes were only noticed for 1 year, that too because of valid reason, then I don't think any action needs to be taken in that particular direction. Thirdly, I believe that the practice done by experts making Swachh Sarvekshan report 2019 was the only option they had if they wanted to show the results before the election, because this is one of the major program run by government and its report plays an important role in assessing the work done by the government. I agree that due to those practices, the report was hampered by a bit, but that was a call of the situation, and I assure the public of our country that from next time onwards, the ministry will start the survey much prior so that the results are not hampered due to elections. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up again, we have a question to the Health Ministry by Derek O'Brien.
Can you highlight the question?
Yeah. Is it visible? Highlight?
Yes. Now it's visible.
I
Okay,
believe
so
this is the final start question for today.
okay.
Yes.
So why is government exporting more vaccines as compared to the amount given to the states? I think it's time for the government to reevaluate its ideas regarding export and put its people first. I think I answered a similar, almost same question from Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge. So I don't think I need to answer it again.
All right. We have, yes, sir. We have 2 start questions remaining.
Do we have a question there? बचे हैं तो वो ले लो, कोई प्रॉब्लम।
If 2 start question बाकी है।
ठीक है।
Also, I think I missed a question from Mr. Manmohan Singh.
Well, we'll scroll upwards. Here it is, one question. Yeah. Ministry of Corporate Affairs, Nirmala ji, would you like to answer this question by Manoj Jha? Right. Again, we have the health ministry. We have a question for you by Manmohan Singh.
It's not visible on the screen yet. Yeah. Okay, so it's a start question. Will the Minister of Health be pleased to state 6.5% of COVID vaccines have gone to waste? Has the government taken any action in this regard? If yes, the details thereof. Okay, so Mr. Rajesh Bhushan, Union Health Secretary, and R.S. Sharma, Chief Executive, National Health Authority, and Chairperson of the Empower Group of COVID Vaccination, chaired a high-level meeting via video conferencing with health secretaries, state mission directors of the National Health Mission, and immunization officers of all the states and union territories to review the situation involving the nationwide vaccination drive and how well the states are prepared for the next phase. Also, the Federal Health Ministry has distributed 75.4 million vaccine doses to Indian states, of which some 36 million doses have been so far used. India is using the AstraZeneca shot and another developed at home by Bharat Biotech. I hope I answered your question.
Yes. Yes, sir. So that's about it for the question.
So one particular question of the Railway Ministry was missed. This particular question, I'll just tell you the name of the member of the House who had posed this particular question.
Do you wish to answer that question, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay, chalo, take your time.
So this particular question was posed by Mr. Naresh Gujral. Should I? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. This particular question itself. This particular question was posed to the Ministry of Railways by Mr. Naresh Gujral. The verbatim of this question is as follows: will the Minister of Railways be pleased to state whether railways have formulated any action plan for the safety of train passengers and curbing occurrence of criminal incidents, and if so, the detailed outline of this action plan? Thank you, Naresh Gujral ji, this particular question ke liye. Naresh Gujral ji, Indian Railways has started the Meri Saheli operation to provide a safe and comfortable journey to women passengers. The Railway Protection Force of the Railways has intensified the campaign against toots to counter the menace of tooting of railway reservation tickets and to safeguard the interest of passengers. Railways has already started running special trains in graded manner during lockdown period, and certain complaints which were filed have also been looked upon by the Railway Protection Force. The team immediately has swung into action and started conducting raids based on the data received from cyber cells and other inputs. These raids conducted on all 5 divisions of the Central Railway line, which is the entire Central Maharashtra section, most of them in the premises of private travel agencies. So far, 174 cases of touting registered under Section 143 of the Railways Act until November 2020 itself. Apart from safeguarding the railway assets, the Central Railway RPF team has stood as the frontline corona workers in every aspect. The RPF has also launched the Meri Saheli operation recently to provide a safe and comfortable journey to women passengers, especially when they are traveling alone. Under the operation, the RPF team escorts daily on an average 25 trains, including daily and weekly special trains. Thank you so much, sir, for the question. If any other inputs need to be required, I am happy to announce via supplementary questions.
Thank you, sir. I didn't know there is a provision of a supplementary question. Chalo, theek hai. Now the next thing to do is we are supposed to take the notices for the 0 hour. So Dharmil, just take the first two notices. पहला वाला notice क्या था?
तो पहले दो हम लोगों ने कल कर लिए
पहले तो मतलब तीसरा चौथा आज के लिए.
तो यस we have the rest of the notices. सर आपको PDF भेजा है ये सेम. So
एक मिनट, मैं वही कल वाला सेम PDF खोल लेता हूँ. धर्मेंद्र तुमने भेजा था मुझे ना? हाँ ठीक है.
yes.
तीसरा प्रकाश जावड़ेकर, टेक ऑफ ऑल स्टेट्स ऑन इम्पोजिंग अ कर्फ्यू लॉकडाउन. ठीक है, प्रकाश जावड़ेकर है?
No sir.
नहीं आए. चलो ठीक है, we can discuss this for 30 minutes. Go ahead.
Sir, what was the topic?
ये है टेक ऑफ ऑल स्टेट्स ऑन इम्पोजिंग अ कर्फ्यू लॉकडाउन. मेरे ख्याल से एक नया कर्फ्यू लॉकडाउन.
Oh, alright.
So,
ठीक है, anyone can.
so just a request before we start, could all the participants please switch on your cameras while you are speaking, at least while you are speaking.
Does someone from the ruling want to start or should I start?
I think yesterday there was a pattern where the concerns were a lot and defense was limited. So I guess, if anyone from the ruling party wants to start, we can go ahead.
Sir, nothing. I guess the ruling can start.
Or if you want to take it like section wise, if you want to talk about different parts of India and club them together sort of, so that this is a little more easier.
What is the topic of discussion right now?
Imposing curfew.
View of the states on imposing lockdown/curfew.
So it is going to be either for, against, or limited, or what conditions, what guidelines are you going to?
So to maintain the quality, let's divide the entire 0 hour की मतलब एक ruling का बोल रहा है, फिर opposition का बोल रहा है, फिर ruling का बोल रहा है, opposition का बोल रहा है. Fair enough.
Fair.
Can have the proper quality and no one can impose that.
Okay, so let's just start without any further ado. We have 30 minutes to do this.
कौन
So
कर रहा है?
anyone
Ruling
can
start
start.
कर रहे हो? Ruling से start कर रहे हो?
Start करते हैं.
अरे कर लो यार कोई तो.
All right, so we are talking about state and nation, state-wise as well as nation-wise lockdown. All right, now and curfews, everything. Now, recently, certain allegations were actually made on the Prime Minister Narendra Modi himself कि अगर night curfew रख रहे हैं तो how can you expect कि इससे बच जाएंगे लोग? How can COVID-19 not spread to that particular aspect altogether? तो इस particular justification, इसका justification देने के लिए I would like to state कि already रात को the presence of the police is not that much felt as compared to when it is in the afternoons or during the morning hours. All right, so imposing a night curfew at that particular time ensures that no one actually violates the certain laws which were put forward by the government. Now, talking about lockdown, a nationwide lockdown which was actually put during March or April is totally not feasible, and even we do not consider this feasible at all. And if everyone from the ruling party agrees to this particular point, अगर हम लोग ने एक और लॉकडाउन रख दिया, our economy will dip so much that we wouldn't be able to recover from it for at least 10 to 15 years, and that is something of major concerns out here. So that's why we are actually going for partial lockdowns. We are trying to since vaccination drives have already started, we are hoping that by July, at least 1 crore people are vaccinated, so that herd immunity also starts. Now, I think I'm done.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
All right. So with regards to your reservations about night curfew, right? I don't see that any opposition member had heavy-hearted reservations against night curfew in the first place, because Maharashtra, which is also not in the power of the NDA, is also imposed night curfew in the first place. Like, it was one of the first states to impose a night curfew. So the question is not about night curfew, but the question is about healthcare infrastructure, right? Because the first lockdown, which was supposed to be done and which was supposed to, lockdowns cannot stop the spread of coronavirus. We need to understand that lockdowns are done to ensure that there are proper healthcare infrastructures being set up, right? So if the same things, if there are still lack of beds in the states, in all of the states, then the question was, what was the use of the lockdown which was imposed in the months of March till the month of September after the Unlock 1.0 scheme started? That is the reservation being put forward by the government. And the question is that vaccine, obviously vaccine is one of the major solutions, but it is, the opposition looks at vaccines as more of a long-term solution rather than a short-term solution, right? Because firstly, the immunity time which takes for the vaccine to get into action is not like immediately ki haan aaj le liya aur kal you are immune with corona, because that's not the first case. The thing about vaccine, misconception about vaccine among a lot of people is that you get vaccinated and you won't get affected by corona, but it actually cuts down on the mortality rate and the infection rate. Like, the severity of the disease gets cut down and not the actual infectivity of the disease. So as much as what we need to do here is even though we oppose a lot of schemes of the government with regards to, we also a lot of oppose the vaccine distribution mechanism for the government. What we need to do is we need to obviously cooperate in this particular aspect, because we do not have any other option. If you look at the current cases, the surge of the cases currently, it is more than what the previous peak of cases was. And even though we cannot accept that the lockdown is feasible, but the center needs to cooperate with the relevant states, especially with Maharashtra, for stricter lockdowns or for stricter curbing of freedom of movement or some aspect in that particular state. Yeah, that's all I would like to say.
In response to the
Rakesh Sinha speak, then after that if that's feasible.
So let speaker speak and then you can reply if you don't mind.
We were going one government, one opposition, right?
अरे मेरे को opposition नहीं है.
हाँ, private है.
Maricom ji are nominated, but like
I am assuming
more allegations
on behalf of the government.
Yes. Rakesh Sinha ji या रामदास जी आप में से कोई भी एक चल.
So I was speaking now. So yeah. Adding to the points of Piyush Goyal, I also believe that complete lockdown is not a necessary. Like, we cannot impose that because our economy will going to suffer a huge loss. But what I think that we have to put some restrictions. We have to evaluate कि restrictions कहाँ पे लगाने हैं and कहाँ नहीं. जैसे कि जो flights होती है, especially from Europe. यूरोप में बहुत ज्यादा कोविड केसेस होते हैं. इवन इट इज सस्पेक्टेड कि जो कॉज है, जो सेकेंड वेव का कॉज है, वो एक बहुत बड़ा रीजन है कि जो यूरोपियंस आते हैं देन दे ब्राइब द ऑफिशियल्स की उन्हें जो मैंडेटरी 7 या 14 डेज का जो मैंडेटरी एक वो रहता है पीरियड जहाँ उन्हें क्वारंटाइन होता है, तो वो क्वारंटाइन नहीं होते हैं, वो ब्राइब देके निकल जाते हैं. देयर आर मेनी इंस्टेंसेस व्हिच हैव बीन सीन लाइक दिस. तो अगर हम इन पे रेस्ट्रिक्ट करें ऐसी प्रैक्टिसेस पे, तो हमारा जो वैक्सीनेशन ड्राइव है वो भी और अच्छे से एनहांस होगा, क्योंकि वैक्सीनेशन भी हम लगा रहे हैं, साइड से हम रिस्ट्रिक्शंस भी नहीं लगा रहे हैं, तो वो कहीं ना कहीं सेकेंड वेव थर्ड वेव वो आती जाएगी. तो हमें उन चीजों में रिस्ट्रिक्ट करना जरूरी है. सेकेंडली, जैसे कि हेल्थ केयर फैसिलिटीज की बात करें तो आई ऑल्सो एग्री विद मल्लिका अर्जुन की हम लॉकडाउन इसलिए लगाते हैं कि हम हेल्थ केयर फैसिलिटीज को इम्प्रूव कर सके. तो हेल्थ केयर फैसिलिटीज को इम्प्रूव करना, बेड स्ट्रक्चर्स एंड ऑल, इवन एक अवेयरनेस पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू है कि लोग अब अवेयर है, वो जानते हैं, बट दे आर नॉट टेकिंग इट एनी मोर सीरियसली. तो उन पॉइंट्स में अगर हम इम्प्रूव करें, फ्लाइट्स के पॉइंट पे इम्प्रूव करें कि हम किस तरह से जो यूरोपियन से अदर कंट्रीज की फ्लाइट्स हैं उन पे हम रिस्ट्रिक्ट करें, और जो करप्शन पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू है, जो एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू है, अगर उससे हम और एनहांस करें तो ज्यादा बेहतर होगा एज कम्पेयर टू कंप्लीट लॉकडाउन, बिकॉज नाउ वी कैन नॉट अफोर्ड. Thank you.
Now speaking
Ramdas ji.
One thing that needs to be cleared for all the members of the parliament is the situation that prevailed during the first lockdown and the situation that prevails now during second limited lockdown is highly different. When we were imposing lockdown for the first time, there was no public awareness regarding the disease. People were not following the COVID-19 appropriate behavior, which prevails even today, but to a lesser extent. Hospitals were seriously overwhelmed. There was lack of bed, which is the case even now, but the degree is lesser than what it was. Now we have a mass inoculation drive in existence. We have a clinical management, robust management practice through which we can reduce the number of cases. Also, the death rates are comparatively lower than what was the case. And let's not forget, the first lockdown came with several prices, several costs. The mental cost the material cost, and of course the economic loss. If we go down back into the complete nationwide lockdown, I don't think we will be able to recognize the goal of India being an economic superpower in the coming decades. The economic demand is already facing a slump. We are bringing in policies to allow demand to gain momentum, to allow supply to gain momentum. If lockdown is posed again, this is really not possible, and we have several other restriction issues into place which would help us to fight the second surge. So the second nationwide lockdown is an illusion that must not materialize.
I just had a quick point before Bhupendra Yadav ji could go and shed some light. Number one being that I feel somewhere where Mallikarjun ji has got it wrong. It's of course about 20% or 30% of what he said is right, that we put a lockdown for introducing better medical infrastructure, but we don't do that. Essentially 90%, 60-70% of the effort is to curb movement of people outside, because corona is something that spreads through contact, which is something that all of us understand sitting in this parliament. Secondly, I agree with Piyush Goyal ji that a lockdown is not impossible, and everybody has made their own points. But I'll tell you why a night curfew is better, right? Like adding to what Piyush Goyal ji said, अगर आप देखें तो एक ऑफिस टाइमिंग्स होती है 9 से 6 बजे या 9 से 7 बजे, जब आप घर पे बैठे हैं, बिकॉज कंपनी सारी वर्चुअली काम कर रही है. तो अगर आपको वेंचर आउट करना है तो आप 8 बजे के बाद ही करते हैं. एंड अगर हमने नाइट कर्फ्यू 10 बजे से 5 बजे तक लगाया है, तो आपके पास वो 2 घंटे है बाहर जाने के लिए, which you may restrict yourself from going somewhere far or contacting with many people. And considering that, and so I believe that a night curfew would be a better option. Coming to Mallikarjun ji's point of interacting with the state of Maharashtra, of course, if you, I think Piyush Goyal ji will remember that 2 days ago only the Prime Minister of India has interacted with all the chief ministers and taken out a nationwide plan of what is going to be done. In fact, even in Delhi, as we speak, there has been an advisory that has been introduced by the Home Ministry, where the everything is back to the same as it was during the lockdown, where marriages or funerals or cinema halls, everything are operating at a minimum capacity. Sports facilities have been closed. So we are taking precautions to restrict movement, but not derail the economy. I think in दोनों के बीच में एक fine balance होना चाहिए, जो हम maintain करना चाहते हैं. तो movement restrict करते हैं. वैक्सीन ऑब्वियसली से पीयूष गोयल जी ने बोला है 67% बढ़ने वाला है. 100 मिलियन डोजेस आपको 2 महीने में मिल जाएंगे. तो मल्लिकार्जुन जी का पॉइंट बिल्कुल सही है कि वैक्सीन कैसे एक्ट करता है वो देखना पड़ेगा, बट एक लॉकडाउन फिजिबल नहीं है. एंड जैसे सब अग्री कर रहे हैं यहाँ पे, प्रॉब्ली a curfew or a partial lockdown whereby essential services are again provided, but the economy should not be derailed while maintaining the health of our citizens, which is the primary requirement of the ruling party and the opposition as well.
Agreed, sir. Agreed.
Yeah,
So
one point, Bhupendra, one point. Just one point. You can address a point.
Sure.
Yeah. So it's just for 15 seconds, not an issue. So as my former colleague said, कि lockdowns, partial lockdowns or lockdowns, full lockdowns won't work. Then I would like to ask the government to clarify on the fact that why has the center given a statement that the weekend lockdown which is currently being imposed in Maharashtra wouldn't work, considering the fact that it is not a sort of a complete lockdown, it is not a sort of a partial lockdown, it is somewhere in the middle part. Then why is the government making statements such as why the weekend lockdown won't work, or why such sort of partial lockdowns won't work? Won't this be contradiction to what the previous statements the government has been making?
Mallikarjun ji, let me just reply to this particular statement. Then Bhupendra ji, आप पूरा continue कीजिएगा. I'm so sorry. Mallikarjun ji, आपने अभी बोला कि center has made certain remarks कि the partial weekend lockdown will not work in Maharashtra. Mallikarjun ji, you must understand that lockdown on just 2 days, that to Saturday and Sunday, is not that feasible, because every other public platform is already shut. The malls are shut. Tourist attractions can't be visited. People can't go out to buy anything. So everything is shut. No one can go out during Saturday and Sunday anyways. So it becomes totally ineffective. It becomes totally non-biased, because even if you are posing a lockdown on a Saturday and Sunday, what benefit are you getting if people aren't even getting out of their house on general days as well?
No, the difference between a weekend lockdown, there is no general movement of public. Yeah, go ahead.
So one thing that I am pretty sure all of us can agree to is that a partial lockdown or like not imposing a complete lockdown is very civilian centric. All right. So here, civilian centric, where each and every citizen needs to be aware of their own rights, right to have essential commodities, right to, have the necessary freedoms. But also it comes on the compromise sort of fulfilling their duties, which, time and time again, Mallikarjun ji and Piyush Goyal ji and Rakesh Sinha ji have put forward that these citizens need to be aware that it's not always about, one family wanting to go out or visiting malls or something. They need to realize, okay, and I'm not putting this forward as a blame game, but rights and duties need to be aware of to the citizens. Now, coming to the point of night curfew and all, obviously restricting recreational activities as much as possible will certainly go ahead to some extent, but it is not all that is needed. Just like that, even vaccines are not absolute. Therefore, any COVID appropriate behavior, any guidelines that are put forward needs to be, at the end of the day, directed towards the people who have elected us to sit in this place and make decisions for them. So that is my, go ahead.
I think Sharad Pawar.
Yeah, Sharad Pawar.
We all agree that lockdown is not the problem, is not the answer to the pandemic, as and if imposed, it would hurt the most vulnerable section like daily wage workers, migrant workers, unorganized workers. As I want to ask the question to the government, as Rakesh Sinha ji has said that we want to restrict the movement of the people. Then why are government so inclined to conduct the elections in these 5 states? We all know that elections can be postponed. It's not the necessary at this point of time. Crores of people are coming and giving votes. So what are government doing? How they will ensure that restrictions of movement is taking place?
There's going to be no cases wherever there's the election going on.
Elections are something which can be postponed to a certain extent only. It's not it cannot happen like this. Elections will not take place. Elections are very important part of our democracy, and there are necessary guidelines we are taking care of also.
Also, another thing, transparent
I can't
reporting
see any political
of these
leaders
cases
in the
need to be
rallies
done.
wearing masks.
Yeah, exactly. So transparent reporting of even a state, whether it has elections or whether it does not have elections, at least have transparent reporting of cases, increase the number of tests, increase the output, like have ground reality. You're telling me that grounds full of people without masks and without proper social distancing, not one person over there is COVID infected or even an asymptomatic carrier. That is why effective and transparent, accountable, reporting of these cases also need to be done before even going ahead and thinking about.
Can I add to that, please?
Yeah, please.
Go ahead.
Right. So I think over here, I think we are more in our capacity as Council of States, where we are our own representative of states, and nationwide lockdown is unfavorable, as everyone previously has indicated. And now when we talk about state-wise lockdowns, or even if not lockdowns, then impositions and restrictions, it needs to be variegated based on that regional case, right? And we need to understand that this situation, and when we are talking about a lockdown, it's very different from what we were facing 365 days ago. It's not a panacea where suddenly you ask everyone to stay at home and everything will be fine. We have changed medical infrastructure. We have inoculation facilities. We have realized the immense economic toll that has been taken. So we need to be aware. So like Bhupendra Yadav ji brought up, we need to be aware of the rights and duties, and we need to make sure that every individual is capable of fulfilling those rights and duties, right? So I think when we are having this discussion today, trying to take it on a national scale, which is not feasible, not desirable, is not the right way to go. We should undertake this more in the spirit of our representation of a state and how, that state can fulfill its rights and duties to its people.
I think AK Anthony has been trying to speak.
Yeah.
Exactly. So
First of all, I would like to answer the statement of Rakesh Sinha ji. He replied to Kharge ji about lockdown is to restrict movement, and he gave the reason about night curfews. Ki 9 to 7 लोग काम करते हैं, एंड देन उसके बाद जो एक्चुअल मूवमेंट है वो होती है, इसलिए नाइट कर्फ्यू इज मोर इफेक्टिव. बट सर प्लीज मेक वन थिंग क्लियर कि सब लोग आईटी सेक्टर में काम नहीं करते, एंड द रियलिटी इज डे टाइम में भी उतने ही मूवमेंट्स हो रही है. The social distancing is not been followed. I am not only talking about any particular state, but it's the ground reality, sir. I agree to Bhupendra Yadav ji's point कि जो transparent record है वो important है, but sir the statement you made कि night curfew क्यों important है, because काम करने के बाद लोग बाहर निकलते हैं sir, so it's absolutely false. Not everyone is in IT sector, sir. सबके काम घर बैठे नहीं होते. And speaking about Piyush Goyal's जी statement that about he said weekend lockdown. He gave the reason why weekend lockdown is not much effective. So I completely disagree with the statement, and the statement made by Kharge ji was absolutely correct, sir. If we are your party candidates are talking about restricting the movements, the most movements happening is on weekend. I agree that we can't it's not much effective in Maharashtra, that weekend lockdown, but we can't say that it's useless, because it's restrict the people to stay in house, and so it's effective. Weekend lockdown is too necessary. And speaking about partial lockdown, as every candidate in this parliament agrees with it, so yes, it's important to impose a partial lockdown, but still the partial lockdown should be imposed in the cities. Not at all, I'm not speaking about entire state too, I'm talking about cities, the cities with major cases, so partial lockdown is necessary there.
So
Can I go ahead now?
I think Oscar Fernandez has been trying to speak. Oscar Fernandez hasn't
Yes,
spoken
thank
since
you.
yesterday.
Thanks. So clearly we know that in retrospect, the first lockdown was completely futile compared to the other countries, the performances of other countries. What I suggest is a full-fledged lockdown by vaccinating every citizen out there, of course, giving precedence to the youth, and then unlocking the country after well, majority of the citizens are completely vaccinated with both the doses. I fail to understand what's wrong with this. Clearly, the
That's
first lockdown was
Fernandez,
That is
if we actually
utopic.
impose
But I
a
can
lockdown
tell
and
you
start
what
the
is wrong with
vaccination
that.
practice, you must
What
understand
about economic?
that, you must understand. Just let me give us.
अरे यार एक इंसान बोल लो यार please.
So Oscar Fernandez ji, the points which you have made were accurate. We understand that, but इसका feasibility भी आपको समझना जरूरी है. If we are imposing a nationwide lockdown at this particular point of time, all right, when our economy is already dipped, all right, being the Consumer Affairs Minister of India, I must tell you that our consumers are not being able to go out. Shopkeepers are not getting the required amount of customers. So obviously they are getting through losses. Maharashtra, let's talk about Maharashtra in particular. Maharashtra state has imposed lockdown in such a way that textile merchants cannot open their shops. So they are already suffering through losses, like terrible losses. Only food and other essential commodities are allowed to open their shops. All right. So they are facing losses at that particular sector. If you are proposing a nationwide lockdown altogether, this is going to lead to a loss all over around, right? Like you can't deny the very fact that अगर छोटी सी दुकान पर कोई shopkeeper भी अगर अपना बेच रहा है वहां पे सामान, so how can you expect him to actually make sales out there and make profit and actually give food to his family? Like this is totally denies art.
A lot of the provisions are based on gambles, so why not take another one with the vaccine? With the possibility of
No, these are not
this
gambles.
particular gamble
People's
would lead to loss of lives.
Piyush Goyal, yes, exactly. This gamble is about a gamble of livelihoods. This is not about a shopkeeper who had to stay home on Sunday. This is about the very people whose daily wage, their wages won't come home. People's livelihoods and their lives, that too for an extended period of time. And that too, when you say that we're going to have a lockdown until everyone is inoculated, do we have the facilities for that? And then you went on to say that youth should be prioritized. What about the medical, frontline workers? There is a different demographical priority that needs to be given based on medical data, not just based on a utopia that you're furthering at this point. So everything that you said in terms of a national lockdown until everyone is inoculated, not only is impractical, it's undesirable and works against us.
Guys, could someone like the ruling us in speaking to someone in the opposition?
Mr. Goyal, I want to speak for a while. Thank you. I just want to say that
Mr. Goyal.
if we keep defending and supporting the lockdown, nothing's gonna work out. I think the discussion that you've been having about day and night lockdowns, we should be taking into consideration how to balance the economic activities and public health crisis. So as much as possible, people should work from home. If there is unavoidable things, then that should be taken into consideration. Public transport should be staggered. Ventilation is key. People should be told not to drop the mask. If we keep arguing about the lockdown, you keep defending it. They say, no, it's good. No, this is bad. It won't work. We have to look at other things as well. Like, we can clearly see that the lockdown thing is not working.
Since yesterday, Mr. Nadda, I'm sorry. Thank you. Yesterday, Mr. Nadda has been saying that healthcare workers need to be vaccinated, frontline workers need to be vaccinated. They have to be vaccinated. But the fact is that from 4th April, the central government has stopped taking registration for health workers and frontline workers to be vaccinated, who are key at this point, who should be vaccinated, but the center has stopped taking registrations for the same. How do you justify that? Secondly, elections cannot be postponed, understood. But super spreader events like the Kumbh Mela, where people coming from outside and are staying in ashrams and 30-40 people at a time are testing COVID positive together, at a time where the Uttarakhand state is shutting down schools because of the amount of COVID cases that are rising over there. Should events at the Kumbh Mela be allowed and be given support from the central government at this point? How is this feasible?
Can I go ahead and make a small
just a minute. Adding to the points of Manoj, I would also say that center has imposed the lockdowns or the night curfew, but at the same time they are not even following the guidelines. If you see the rallies in West Bengal of BJP, no one is there who is मास्क लगा रहा है या फिर कोई भी, नॉट इवन बीजेपी, इवन द वेस्ट बंगाल में जो तृणमूल कांग्रेस है वो भी मास्क नहीं लगा रहे, वो लोग सारे ही गाइडलाइंस को ब्रेक कर रहे हैं. सो if you are really concerned about कि वायरस बहुत ज्यादा फैल रहा है, then आपकी गवर्नमेंट की इलेक्शंस जो रैलीज हो रही है वही नहीं कर रहे हैं. सो why this so biased कि
बस इसका एक छोटा सा एक्सप्लेनेशन देता हूं.
Yeah, and to substantiate it, there has been a report by the election commission also warning you guys. It isn't like just made up facts.
You understand these are not made up facts, but you must understand कि हमारे लीडर्स जो हैं वो अपनी जान पे खेलने तो जान ही रहे हैं वहां पे. All right, वो लोग अगर वहां पे रैली करने जा रहे हैं, there is a sole objective out there to make sure that we get the votes. Correct? You have to agree to that particular factor. आप एक
let him finish. Can you let him finish?
अगर रैली में हमारे लीडर्स वहां पे जाके स्पीचेस दे रहे हैं, all right, तो उनके सराउंडिंग में जितने भी हैं एक पर्टिकुलर बायो बबल, एक पर्टिकुलर प्रोटेक्टिव बबल रहता है. मतलब all those people, all the protective personnel, all the people around them have already been vaccinated and they are safe. So आप हमारे लीडर्स की चिंता मत कीजिए. And secondly, they are not violating any protocols at that particular sector itself. Thank you very much.
Sir, I think that the statement which you made that everyone is vaccinated. Ma'am, one second.
Can I counter
the question? The fact that you said that a biobubble exists, that is completely factually inaccurate. That doesn't exist actually. If you look at the report which had been given by the EC clearly has stated that the protocols, which has to be followed for the, this is not only for BJP, but this is for a lot of parties which have been campaigning in West Bengal, right? If you look at, they have clearly been stating the fact that protocols have been floated. If you make up the fact that हमारे leader जान के जोकिंग जाके rally कर रहे, it's not only your leader, it's also the people you are affecting by because of your leaders, because one person may have COVID and that may affect the whole area of people which are present in that particular region, right? So if you are not following a protocol, even if one or two people who aren't following a protocol and in a hypothetical scenario they have COVID, the whole crowd gets affected. You need to realize that.
Thank you for that. Manoj Kumar ji, in response to your question about medical workers, one point.
We have 1 minute. We have like 1 minute for someone.
Harshvardhan ji, go ahead.
It's not actually about lockdowns.
Please have one government.
Just let me make one point.
Maricom, please could you let someone else speak?
JP Nada ji, आप बोलिए.
I think Twarchan Gehlot has been raising hands since a long time.
Go ahead.
I'll only take 20 seconds.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you are the last. I guess the time is up anyway, so it is the last speaker anyway.
So I'll take only 10 to 20 seconds. So what I was saying,
Please, Maricom, let me speak. Please, Maricom ji, please. Thank you. So अभी हम लोग बात कर रहे हैं लॉकडाउन पे या फिर partial lockdown. Why are we not actually discussing about the check post scanning or check post screening? If we compare Maharashtra with a state like Meghalaya, there is only one entry point, whereas in Maharashtra there are many entry points. But this state government also needs to understand, not only the center but the state government also needs to understand and facilitate check post screening. They are not checking exactly the COVID reports. Vaccinating, you are getting 2 doses of vaccines, but after all, vaccination also, it's not that you won't get COVID. There have been cases of COVID. What we need to improve is the mindset of people of not traveling. If we are imposing a lockdown also, are the good travelers not traveling to other states? Are we not getting supplies from other states? We are getting, but are the drivers of the trucks or other commodities getting screened for COVID? Are they showing any reports? No. So as we say that center government has to do this, center government has to do that, it's also a responsibility of the state government to impose certain criteria for their particular state.
Exactly.
So yeah, that's what point I wanted to make. Thank you.
Sir, are we done, sir? Sean, sir?
Yes, yeah. It pains me to inform you that the time is up.
Okay.
So yeah. So we've just exhausted 30 minutes of very good deliberation, and I congratulate you all for that. Dekho, it's like the next topic I'm not willing to take, and that is, should LG be given upper hand in governance of union territories, as is given in NCT bill. The next topic by Jyotiraditya Scindia is worrying increase in Maharashtra COVID cases. फिर उसके बाद need to expand the vaccination program. Okay. फिर vaccination drive. चलो ठीक है फिर यार, एक काम करो, you're having a good time discussing COVID, so you can take the topic is need for expanding the vaccination program for all adults and addressing complaints of vaccine shortage. So another 30 minutes we can devote for that. Thank you.
I propose that the health minister start with the particular speech because she is the most concerned.
Fair enough. Yeah, before that, guys, please don't interrupt. I've been seeing like एक दो लोग यार फोकट का तुम interrupt कर रहे हो. Like it's going, everything is fine, civilized हो रहा है, फिर एक दो जन आके ऐसे मस्त interrupt कर रहे हो, पूरा ऐसे breaking the momentum. Please don't interrupt.
मैं request कि जो बोल रहा है complete करने दिया जाए और बीच में उसको ना इंटरप्ट करके फिर वापस और उसको चांस ना दी जाएगी.
मेरी कॉम जी 1 मिनट ऐसी बर्बाद हो गया हमारा है.
रेज हैंड किया
जाता है इतने में.
हाँ ठीक है, let's without any ado, Harshvardhan ji, please start us off with this discussion.
Yeah, so like पहले वाले डिस्कशन में भी ऐसी बात चल रही थी कि लॉकडाउन होना चाहिए नहीं होना चाहिए, बट इट्स नॉट कम्प्लीटली अपॉन द सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट. स्टेट गवर्नमेंट भी रिस्पॉन्सिबल है इसके लिए, लाइक गहलोत सर सेड. जैसे महाराष्ट्र में लोकल ट्रेन्स वर स्टार्टेड, मतलब ऑल्दो टाइमिंग्स फिक्स थे उनके, लेकिन उससे भी काफ़ी इंक्रीज हुआ है, स्पाइक हुआ है केसेस में कोरोना वायरस के. सो ऐसे मेजर्स मतलब बिना कंसल्टेशन के सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट के लोकल ट्रेन अभी नहीं स्टार्ट होती तो शायद इतना इफेक्ट नहीं आता कोरोना केसेस में, क्योंकि मोस्ट ऑफ द मतलब ऑलमोस्ट ऑल ऑफ द महाराष्ट्र पॉपुलेशन ट्रेवल्स थ्रू लोकल ट्रेन्स. एंड जनरल कैटेगरी वाले ट्रेन्स में देखा ही है कि कितना वो पॉपुलेशन रहता है एंड बहुत क्राउड रहता है वहाँ पे. ऑल्सो कोविड वैक्सीन्स की बात अगर की जाए तो दे आर गेटिंग प्रोड्यूस्ड एंड हमारा जो बाहर इंटरनेशनल कमिटमेंट्स है वो भी पूरा हो रहा है. एंड बाय मई और जून पीपल विल गेट वैक्सीन्स. So
Dr. Harshvardhan.
Yeah, one second.
Because trains in Maharashtra, trains in Bombay, local trains in Bombay come under the ambit of the central government of the Ministry of Railways, who have given permission for the local trains functioning. Exactly. You cannot say that the state government did not take permission from the central government. The central government is the one who gives permission to start everything.
Yes, we understand.
Yeah. So that was a factually inaccurate statement when you.
Thank you.
Yeah, the point of the train was extremely, misguiding because, the Central Railways or the Western Railways, we need to take permission from them, then we need to consult the center, then we need to consult the health ministry, then only we get the permission to, start the trains. Even when the trains was opened for the essential people way back in June or July 2020, we had taken that. So, you cannot blame the state government for that because this has been done only after, relevant consultation with the state government in the first place. And with the vaccine program, with the vaccine program, I understand the fact that considering the current already vaccine shortage for the people above 45 years of age and health workers, I don't think that currently, unless there is a sudden increase in the output, manufacturing unit by the center or the center manages to do something else or cuts down on exports to foreign countries, I don't think it would be possible or feasible, at least for a couple of months, to increase the time frame, just because there aren't proper vaccines being manufactured, and even if they are being manufactured, they aren't being dispersed properly, according to what I feel. Yeah,
Let's not
go
get,
ahead.
get lost in red tape.
Let's
not get lost in
let's not get lost in red tapeism, but like come down to the matter of fact कि trains functioning without and even though on paper everyone has to follow social distancing, people can't stand in trains, only people, there is a capacity limit on how many people can go on trains, but actively ensuring that, actively implementing those guidelines is what we actually need right now. And further talking about vaccination, like obviously as soon as manufacturing starts rolling out, as soon as the vaccines are made available, we need to prioritize and also simultaneously expand the bracket of people eligible for the vaccine, and to ultimately go towards our end goal of universal vaccination. So therefore, what I call upon people sitting here today is to actually discuss that bracket, who needs to be given priority as soon. I completely agree that this statement has an assumption that manufacturing will roll out smoothly, and if it does, I hope so it does, because a lot of promises have been made from the actively running health government as well, that manufacturing will be completed and licensing will be done as well. So now I urge you all to discuss the bracketing and universal vaccine.
Okay. Can I go ahead?
Agree to you. Could someone from the opposition speak, considering that one from the ruling?
Let me just add one particular point to Bhupendra ji. Mary Kom ji was 8 point add करने दो Bhupendra ji के point में, and then Priyanka ji you continue, followed by Mary Kom ji, if it would be acceptable by the house.
Yeah.
All right. So Bhupendra ji, you said that I totally agree with you कि that and जैसे खड़गे जी ने भी अभी थोड़ी देर पहले कहा कि it was not the only responsibility of the state, it was also the responsibility of the railways as well as the home ministry, and we agree with that. It was our government who gave the permission. However, you must understand that the situation outside the railway station is not governed by the center. It is governed by the state, correct? The installation of street vendors out there, the movement of public out there, this is all governed by the state government. This is not under the center's legislation. So by blaming the center for something which is happening outside the railway station, you can't do that. All right. Secondly, adding to Bhupendra ji's point, she said that we have to start rolling out more vaccination drives, and we have to go towards universal vaccination. We agree to this. However, Bhupendra ji, एक और concern है कि World Health Organization ने जो अपना statement निकाला था, according to WHO, universal vaccination is not required. Only vaccination of a particular section is required, which will basically lead to herd immunity. So अगर हम लोग उस particular scenario को देखें तो हमारा always better रहेगा. Priyanka ji, you continue. I'll add other points later.
I'll just
Thank you
add
so
one
much.
line. If that's
Ma'am, could Priyanka ji speak? It was her turn. Please don't go out of your turn, ma'am.
One line, then only 30 minutes will going to pass off. So it's better.
Yeah,
like,
Priyanka ji, go ahead.
Mary Kom ji, let Priyanka ji.
Yeah, exactly. Please go according to your turns.
Thank you so much, Bhupendra Yadav ji, for stating that you are planning on expanding the priority groups ka definition. Thank you so much for stating it. Now, my only question is, whenever we, the opposition, raise issue or bring into light certain groups of people who should be included within the definition of priority groups that ought to receive the vaccination. For example, I myself had raised this issue to the health minister, that there are various religious leaders, there are various saints who are not in the senior citizens list, who are not being able to get vaccinated due to lack of Aadhaar cards, or are not being able to online register for it due to lack of resources. So the immediate retaliation from, it was shocking that the retaliation from health minister was stating that Maharashtra has been wasting 5 million doses of vaccine. This has been raised time and again. I'd like to clear this out. There is a list from the health ministry itself which states the percentage of vaccine wastage, and in Maharashtra, the percentage is lowest, and it is not at all 5 million doses. In fact, that is most probably the national average, which Dr. Harshvardhan gave a factually inaccurate statement, blaming the state government for it. Now, my point is, since we are the opposition, it's our duty to bring into light the people who actually need, be it expanding it to youth. Now, the thing is, we know that board examinations are to be conducted. We have to take that into consideration. We have to take the safety and security of students. If we conduct offline board examinations, the logistical support that they'll require for traveling. In fact, some people also raised the issue of vaccination of the youth. Now, since vaccination of youth is taken into consideration, I'd like to point out in Gujarat, and there's a report, I can send it. In Gujarat, IIT Gujarat, people living on campus, the students were vaccinated. If those students could be vaccinated, so then why is it that whenever, as the opposition, whenever we raise the issue of vaccinating the youth, the government gets offended? It's our duty to raise such issues. Why is the government, and I have no issues with those students being vaccinated, but why is it that when we raise this issue, the government gets offended and retaliates immediately with factually inaccurate statements? Thank you.
Exactly. Just adding now, one thing, many of them have addressed this issue, but I think the main issue tha, abhi, that is need for expanding the vaccination program for all adults and addressing complaints of vaccine shortage. तो उसे थोड़ा रिवर्स में लेना पड़ेगा. पहले हमें जो वैक्सीन का जो शॉर्टेज हो रहा है, हमें उसे कम करना पड़ेगा, उसे सही करना पड़ेगा, एंड देन हम वैक्सीनेशन प्रोग्राम अपने एडल्ट्स की तरफ एक्सटेंड कर सकते हैं. तो सबसे पहले जो हमारी करंट लैबोरेटरीज है, उसका जो साइज है, नंबर है, जो उसे इंक्रीज करना पड़ेगा, कि वो जो लैबोरेटरीज है वो अलग अलग सेक्टर्स में, अलग अलग एरियाज में डिस्ट्रीब्यूट हो जाए. फॉर दैट कि हमें इन्वेस्टमेंट करनी पड़ेगी, हमें जो हमारा बजट है या जो भी है एलोकेशन है, वो वैक्सीन और उनकी लेबोरेटरीज के सेटअप के लिए ज्यादा बढ़ाना पड़ेगा, इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर ज्यादा बढ़ाना पड़ेगा. क्योंकि जब तक वो चीजें नहीं होंगी, हम ये अगर सोचे कि एडल्ट्स को हम करेंगे तो वो नहीं पॉसिबल हो सकता. ऐसे जेपी नड्डा हैज आल्सो पॉइंटेड कि वी डोंट हैव दैट मेडिकल फैसिलिटी. पैंडेमिक को 1 साल हो चुका है, बट स्टिल वी आर लैकिंग द मेडिकल फैसिलिटी. लास्ट ईयर ऑलमोस्ट पूरा ईयर लॉकडाउन में था, पार्शियल या फिर कंप्लीट लॉकडाउन, बट वो लॉकडाउन था. तो उन टाइम में भी हमने उतनी मेडिकल फैसिलिटी अरेंज नहीं कर पाए कि वी नो दैट इवन वी वर लाइक इन 2020 हम बहुत श्योर थे कि 2021 में वैक्सीन आ ही जाएगा. अब हम 21 में भी इसी इशू के साथ है कि मेडिकल फैसिलिटी नहीं है, बेड्स नहीं है. तो सेम इशू हमें अभी भी एड्रेस करना है. सो इट्स बेटर कि अगर हमें एडल्ट्स तक वैक्सीनेशन प्रोग्राम फैलाना है, तो अब एटलीस्ट हम ये मेडिकल फैसिलिटी वाला जो इशू है कि जो मेडिकल शॉर्टेज होता है, उसे हम सॉल्व करें. हम अपना फंड जो है वो लेबोरेटरीज और अलग अलग जगहों पे प्रॉपर डिस्ट्रीब्यूट करें, एंड देन ओनली ये इशू सॉल्व हो सकता है. तो और अगर यहाँ पे अगर कोई रूलिंग पार्टी का ही लीडर कह रहा है कि फैसिलिटी की प्रॉब्लम है, तो वो हमारा नहीं, वो आपका लूपहोल है कि अभी तक आप नहीं कर पाए. प्लीज एड्रेस.
Yeah. So first of all, I'd like to say that ये हमारा प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, ये हम सबका प्रॉब्लम है. It's not a ruling. COVID is not a ruling party issue. It's a nationwide issue. But Marikom ji, thank you very much for quoting it as a ruling party issue.
It is about कि you are the one जिसे हमने चूज किया है, तो आप उन मेडिकल फैसिलिटीज अभी कॉमन मैन जाके हॉस्पिटल बेड या इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर में नहीं जा सकता. आप हम टैक्स देते हैं जैसे कि आप करो सब काम.
बिल्कुल जी, बिल्कुल.
हम आपको क्वेश्चन करेंगे, बाकी ये हम सब इसमें साथ निकलेंगे.
Yes, जी, बिल्कुल. Just to make a few points. Point number 1 being that there have been a lot of statements regarding, vaccine diplomacy, giving vaccines to other countries, Why could vaccines not be preserved? I'd like to take all of you back to what Piyush Goyal ji and me have been harping since yesterday, which was to say that when did we give these doses abroad? When we felt that the second wave would not arise, and when we felt social distancing was working, and when it was clear on statistics basis that we were doing well as a country and the fatality rate or the mortality rate was coming down, and this is when we spread our vaccine diplomacy. But leaving that aside, now we are in the second wave, and there have been various reports. If parliamentarians want, I'll circulate it, where it has been said that we will stop vaccine diplomacy for now and we are going to focus on domestic demand. I differ. So the question of, now giving vaccines to somebody or some other country for at least, 4 to 5 months before we vaccinate our own citizens is out of the question. So opposition should be happy with it as well as we are. Number two, I completely agree with the point made by JP Nada, which is to say that, restricting it to a certain age group as of now and not making it universal, because as Mallikarjun Kharge ji says, the amount of vaccines at present that we have are limited. Though it is a promise that is being entered by the health ministry, which the ruling party is focusing on making its priority, which is to say that we'll have 100 million doses by May and vaccinate all our citizens, which is something that we'll carry out. And the last point I'd like to make, I mean, thoda sa I differ from Maricom ji. पहले उन्होंने बोला कि 2020 में मतलब खाली बैठे रहे. पहले तो मैम एक बिल्डिंग ईंटें इमारत बनाने के लिए लोग चाहिए होते हैं. माइग्रेंट वर्कर्स घर चले गए थे when the lockdown happened, and we didn't want to call them because we care about their safety and their their safety and their health. But moreover, the entire of the last year went in preparation of the vaccine. हमने promise किया था कि हम एक vaccine लेके आएंगे, and India was the first country that introduced the Covishield, which actually worked. Our vaccine was actually better than the one that was being taken in Oxford, जो सारी facilities रख के भी they could not give a vaccine, and in Australia etc. तो हमने पूरा vaccine पे focus करके बनाया है. And also where I'd like to disagree is that Mr. Arvind Kejriwal and other chief ministers have built beds have introduced so many more beds. We have taken institutional quarantine centers. We have focused on colleges. The central government has taken help from all around, and the opposition has played a crucial part in it, where they have called for infrastructure, and we have improved infrastructure by not probably building, but we have used our inbuilt infrastructure to actually accommodate. So I'd not agree with Maricom ji there, where 2020 was not wasted. It was a year of transformation for both the vaccine world as well as infrastructure. And I think, as Mallikarjun Kharge ji says and Piyush Goyal ji might agree, that slowly we'll roll out the vaccines, and the end goal, as said by Bhupendra Yadav ji, would be universal vaccination. But that we'll have to see. Right now, we'll restrict the age cap at what it is and allow people above 45 to take the vaccine, because of the sole reason that the people are affected by it the fastest, and the mortality rate, to control that essentially. That's all. Thank you.
Sir, so one point, sir. When you're saying that you're restricting it to the above, do you take into consideration that the actual workforce is from 18 to 45 years of age? 18 to 45 years of age is the actual workforce. You need to vaccinate the health line workers also, the front line workers also, and the above age 45
I
workers.
was including them in the. I was including frontline workers in this.
Dr. Rami Ajnik ji, we understand that the main workforce is from 18 to 45. We totally understand. But the people who are above the age of 45 are more at risk, right? As clearly stated by Harshvardhan ji before, Bhupendra ji before, Rakesh Sinha ji before, that people above the age of 45 are at risk right now. So those people who should be prioritized first. Right?
Can we follow the order, please? Can we
please follow the order? Can you guys not go out of order? Yeah.
I guess it's JP Nada.
Right? Yeah, JP Nada, please.
So, firstly, to answer Manoj ji's question that was raised before we came to this topic, which is why frontline workers have been denied their usage, that only happened after 1st of April. Before that, for the longest time, frontline workers were given immediate priority, and even more than government red tape, whether you're a frontline worker, whether you get access, frontline workers were also who had the most geographical and immediate access and availability of them. So frontline workers are by no way or means being sidelined by the government. The reasons for that denial of after 1st of April was because of misuse and based on data, and that data can be provided to you shortly if you ask for the same, right? And also, when we are talking about frontline workers, they were denied that only after 1st of April with the caveats previously provided, and if they are above the age of 45, they are anyway eligible for the same. So under no circumstances can the central government be blamed for not giving priority to its frontline workers. Now,
can I add a point about
talking about vaccination? Ma'am, can you just give me a short minute? Thank you. So then let's talk about vaccination and increasing the thing. I think we're all on the same page. We want more vaccines. We want more people to get those vaccines. So putting aside what the government has already done, which is itself substantial, we need to increase the supply side infrastructure so as to be able to increase the amount of vaccines we provide. This has to be done keeping in mind IPR considerations. This has to be done keeping in mind So we need to increase supply side infrastructure, and we also need to increase demand side accessibility. We can't have all this vaccine when people in cities or in places that are not tier 1, tier 2 cities don't have access to it. We need to make sure that the vaccines that we do have reach the people who are not in our immediate mainstream collective conscious, right? So this is something that I think we'll all agree upon, and this needs to be put forth to something that's not limited to, tier 1, tier 2 met cities. Then let's talk about how Rakesh Sinha ji has already countered all the claims of how we were previously balancing foreign diplomacy obligations and now internal matters. Our focus will and always will be internal matters, and now we are talking about that conversation over here, so the government should not be blamed for otherwise. Now, even when we are talking about vaccination, the vaccination comes from the underlying cause of trying to mitigate the negative impacts of coronavirus at large. And inoculation, although a substantial part, is only a part of it. It does need to be accompanied by civic side measures. The one largest detriment that has happened over the course of the past year is that public responsibility has gone down. There has been desensitization towards the threat of coronavirus, and that does need to be countered by claims, which state governments and union governments are working towards, but there's always room for improvement, and I will be the first to admit that. Right now, lastly, with reference to the claims that have been brought up by ministers previously, when we are talking about how the youth need to be inoculated because they are the working force and so on and so forth, we agree youth do need to be inoculated, but this is not an isolated sample space where you look at one person and you say, see, this person deserves it. Yes, everyone deserves it for own reasons, but when we have the responsibility of the state, that to the country as a whole, we need to understand some people deserve it more than others, some people are in dire need of it more than others, and that does not mean an exclusion of others. It is simply a priority based mechanization. As stated previously, we also need to consider we don't have an infinite source and supply here. We do need to consider our logistical requirements, and considering that the prioritization that has been brought up, and it's not simply a political mechanization, it has been based on medical and international recommendations. With that, I would like to end. Thank you.
JK Anthony. JK Anthony?
Anthony ji, boliye.
So after hearing the statements of many candidates from the government, it seems that our opinion doesn't matter. So rather than giving an opinion, a factual information and a question will be asked to the government, and I hope the accurate answer is given now. So it is said that Maharashtra has the highest COVID-19 caseload, and they are saying that they are receiving or facing stepmotherly treatment from central government in supply of vaccines. As per a reply to this question in Lok Sabha to the government has given some details in quantities of critical medical equipment supplied to each state as of February 10. If we project the total quantity supplied over the 1000 patient case load in each state, we get a shocking picture. Gujarat received 9,623 N95 masks per 1,000 patients, while Maharashtra received 1,560 masks. Even Uttar Pradesh received 3,916 masks, more than twice than of Maharashtra. Now, if we talk about PP kits, Gujarat received 4,951 per 1,000 patients. Uttar Pradesh got 2,446, and Maharashtra just got 223 kits. This is the factual statement made in Lok Sabha. Then if we talk about ventilators, Gujarat received 13 ventilators per 1,000 patients, UP 7, Maharashtra 2, and our state Kerala received even fewer, that is 1. So in all categories, Gujarat received the lion's share of medical equipment, which was proportionate to the case load. I would like to remind our government that he...
Sir, don't interrupt, sir. We didn't interrupt.
My last line is, I would like to remind the government that the government is for entire country and not just for Gujarat, Uttar Pradesh or other BJP ruled states. I would like to have an answer about why there is such a difference between the medical equipment supplied to Maharashtra and other non-BJP ruled states.
Sir, I would like to add over here one point. Can I?
Ma'am, there is already a speaker you have to follow.
We should tackle them first.
But let Ami Achni ji add a particular point if she feels that it's an addition to the particular point which was made, right?
Just take a minute with respect to what A.K. Antony ji said. There is this Tika mission or Ayojan which is there in Maharashtra, which you've said is from 11th of 14th of April. When you're closing down all the vaccine centers, how are you planning to give the vaccines to the people. Is this also another PR stunt which the government is trying to put forward, just to add to A.K. Antony's thing?
Can I speak right now?
Ashwatanti, let's go with the order for right now. अगर यहाँ
Sharad Pawar, right?
Yeah.
Sharad Pawar applications डालने दो फिर साथ में counter करें.
Right, he is not there.
Yeah, so I'll speak. Never mind. Yeah. So with the question of the vaccine drive coming up, right? Yeah, we understand the fact that there have been logistical fallacies put in place, and we are constrained by even the high population density in a lot of Indian areas. But what the major concern of the opposition here is a lack of a roadmap, right? There should be a projected amount of date or a projected amount of, like there should be at least a rough roadmap ki, हम March, हम May में या June में we will start vaccinating the people who are from 25 to 45 or whatever the age group we are going to do. Now the question still arises of vaccine stigma, right? There have been a lot of people in India which do not feel that taking the vaccine is the right step. But it is the government's responsibility to spread the awareness, because the vaccine. Hello.
Is he stuck?
I think voice is not audible. We can proceed.
Yeah, let's give it a minute.
Kharji ji, the plan which you were quoting right now, a particular plan does exist. By July, we have projected certain numbers. Our particular.
Wait.
You were stuck, right? You're stuck again.
All right. So first should be completed. Until then.
Marycom, 8 seconds. Marycom, just give me 1 second.
Sir, could I complete? Sir, Sir. I was speaking. I got cut off. Wait, guys. Yeah, I'm back.
Sir, if you could.
Yeah. So the point I had here was of a lack of roadmap, right? If there is no roadmap which has been currently put in place, what is the government projecting to? Like, there should be an end goal at which the government is currently heading to. If there isn't one, I don't see what the current point is. Even the stigmatic view of people about vaccine, right? There is a social responsibility of people to get vaccinated, because they owe it not only to the government but also to people, because it will just help in preventing the spread. So what is the government planning about roadmap? Is there a projected roadmap does the government have with inoculation of people who are below 45 years of age, and also with regards to vaccine production?
Exactly. So Mr. Kharji, let me just clarify your certain doubts जो आपने house में भी raise किए हैं. Our government does have a particular plan for it. हमने project किए थे certain numbers जो certain states have not met. All right. So obviously second wave को हमने पहले से तो सोचा नहीं था कि second wave आने वाला है इतनी जल्दी. And even we weren't prepared for the second wave, which was made clear to everyone in the house, and everyone must agree with this particular point, right? Now let's talk about the floor plan or the particular plan itself. हमने July तक project किया था कि we will sufficiently be able to vaccinate more people above the age of 45, and after that we would surely start vaccinations of other. In fact, अभी एक recent development अगर announce करें तो Sputnik 5 अब जो अभी second phase में था, it will soon get recognized again, and Dr. Reddy will be able to supply. So obviously vaccines हमारी increase होंगी. 6 local companies are already already manufacturing vaccines in the country itself. अब भारत बायोटेक की अलग वैक्सीन बना रही है, कोवैक्सीन अलग आ रही है, स्पुटनिक 5 अलग से आ रही है. We are also trying to inculcate Pfizer inside our mechanism as well. So धीरे धीरे बढ़ रहा है. And talking about the plan, yes, we have a particular plan. Yes, we are implementing the plan, but we also want the states who feel ki central government is more inclined towards the particular states where they have the ruling power to actually understand that there is no such thing of sort. We always go by statistics, we always go by logistics, and it has always been made clear to everyone. So before making certain allegations, A.K. Antony ji, आपको थोड़ा और बेसिक चीजें भी पता होनी चाहिए.
Why is Pfizer and Sputnik not gotten regulatory approval?
Can I make a comment? So just one thing, because what statement को बहुत distorted और गलत बोला गया है. Sir, राकेश जी का statement बहुत गलत बोला गया है. The thing is, it is not about कि migrant laborers की care के लिए हमने उनको वापस घर भेजा था. It is like पुलिस भी काम कर रहे हैं, doctors भी काम कर रहे हैं. जो भी जरूरत है हमें उनको उनकी हेल्थ केयर, उनकी फैसिलिटी हमें जिनकी चाहिए, हमने उनको अपने पास रख के उनसे काम करवाया है. तो माइग्रेंट लेबर्स मतलब दो बहुत होते हैं. एक ऐसे भी लेबर्स होते हैं जो फैक्ट्रीज में काम करते हैं, तो उन लेबर्स को जो शायद इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर में डेवलपिंग में जरूरत है, हमें उन्हें रखना चाहिए था. तो इट इज नॉट अबाउट कि वो घर चले गए तो हम नहीं करेंगे. तो दिस इज वैलिड रीजन. हर्षवर्धन सर should get the chance to speak. She's yeah. Please give her the chance.
I had my name in the list also.
Yes.
So according to Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge, Maharashtra government के wastage नहीं हुई है vaccines की. So I would like to present some facts. जो महाराष्ट्र गवर्नमेंट को वैक्सीन्स दिए गए थे सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट से वो थे 1,06,19,190. उसमें से कंजम्पशन जो था वो 90,53,523 का था, जिसमें से 6% ऑफ द वैक्सीन्स वर वेस्टेड, ओवर 5 lakhs. और जो वैक्सीन्स पाइपलाइन में थे दे वर 7,43,280 एंड डोजेज अवेलेबल वाज नियरली 23 lakhs. So I request Maharashtra government to not play politics over vaccines, and also to reply over the question that vaccines बन रहे हैं नहीं बन रहे हैं. So Serum Institute के जो CEO है उन्होंने बोला है कि इकोनॉमी डिप की वजह से, जो कि लॉकडाउन में था, उसकी वजह से उनको 300 crore का और फंड्स चाहिए, and they are aiming to produce more than 110 million vaccines per month from the month of June. Also, Dr. Ami Yajnik
FYI, ma'am, you are giving a factually inaccurate fact. The 6% wastage is a national wastage. It isn't Maharashtra ka wastage. The Maharashtra ka wastage is actually half of what the national wastage is. So you are just digging your own grave by telling it. 6% is the national wastage, which has been quoted.
I have quoted the facts and figures.
The lowest state wastage in vaccine is in Maharashtra, which is half of 6%. Exactly. You're digging your own grave. You're digging your own grave.
With one thing, incompetence should not be justified by ignorance. That is it. Every state needs to be accountable. I'll repeat myself, incompetence cannot be justified by ignorance. Each state needs to realize if not their vaccines are wasted, they need to be held accountable. And as Mallikarjun ji said, let's have a roadmap. And Piyush Goyal ji, we duly acknowledge that vaccines are coming. Achhe din aane wale, so let's fulfill that promise that we owe to our citizens.
I'll also repeat myself.
I think we're done, right?
I'll also repeat myself. It's lunch.
If we don't want vaccines to be wasted, the center is so keen.
Sir. Speaker is speaking. Please don't interrupt.
Please respect me. I'll also repeat myself. It's lunch. So, क्या नाम है? You can break for lunch. We'll reconvene at 1 and we'll contact. Okay?
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
यार तुम national data quote कर रहे हो यार. That is 6